Everybody, I know we've got a long weekend coming up, so I just want to go through everything that we've read in Warriors Don't Cry. So, up to this point, we have really talked about where is prepare Melba's life before going to Central, even where she's prepared to start going to Central. This chapter that we're reading now, I'm looking for the number, chapter 7 actually, we're actually starting to talk about what happens when Melba gets to Central. So we know their first day is absolutely god awful. Not only did um, they were they there's a mob of about 1,500 people outside the school. The only reason they even got into the school was because the mob started beating up two black newspaper reporters. And when I say beat, I mean beat. Like they were hitting them on the head with bricks and then literally kicking them. And um, so they finally got into the school. When they got into the school, then they were like ushered around quickly, and they didn't have time to stop. Melba was literally slapped in the face and spat upon or spit on by people the first day. So they people didn't even treat them like with dignity or as a human, like a human. They were just horrible to her. Um, and like I said, she was being called names in the hallway. Um, there was a woman, Miss Pickwick, and she was in a shorthand class. She was teaching that. And if what it was, shorthand, we didn't have dictation, or there wasn't dictation really machines until even the 80s. And so what a secretary would do would be to go into her boss's office, and he would dictate the letter, and she would write it on a steno pad, and that was called shorthand. And so Miss Pickwick was a shorthand teacher, and she was the first teacher Melba had who actually told the kids to act like decent human beings and to accept Melba. Um, so then after that, basically they decided it was getting way too dangerous at Central, so they sent them out. They were like, okay, we've got to get these kids out of here. But the bad part about this was they didn't know how. And so, literally, one of the administrators said, well, why don't we just take one of them and basically sacrifice that kid to the crowd, and we'll create that diversion, and we'll get the rest of them out of the school. They literally were going to let the crowd do whatever with one of the Little Rock Nine, which to me is horrific. What they ended up doing is that they ran the kids through a series of corridors, and they put them in the basement of the school were automobiles, like police automobiles. They told them to lay down in the back seat, and they just rushed out of the garage and went through the crowd as fast as they could, and then drove around before the kids could even pop up their heads, and then got them out of Central High School. And that was the first day. Things that I want you to understand is that one of the people leading this mob, it was definitely an orchestrated mob, definitely a situation where they had organized it. One of the people in the crowd was actually the athletic commissioner for the state of Arkansas. So this is a horrible situation, and it should have never taken place ever. It was just absolutely horrible. So I want you to really think, like, as we look at different issues in our country at the current moment, like, make sure that we're not making the same mistakes as maybe people did back in the 50s. So that is for Chapter 7. We will start Chapter 8, obviously. If you have any questions, make sure you talk to Miss G or myself.